Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of Prop Party. I can't believe it's already week 15 Prop Party, but we're talking alts, anytime touchdowns, parlays, and of course, Thursday Night Football in just 1 minute. That's right. It is week 15. This is Prop Party. Every Thursday, we go through and we break down our favorite alts, anytime touchdowns, parlays, talk through Thursday Night Football, talk through first touchdowns, build a show same game parlay for tonight. And that's what we're going to do. But first, I got to say hi to my guys. First, Tyler, I need to hear about your week 14, but I have to congratulate you on hitting a 6-1 that you said right here in last week's Prop Party. You said Darnold 3 touchdowns, Jefferson a touchdown, Jefferson 100 yards, 6-1 cash. Nice, very nice. And that's what's so fun. This is an early look show, but plenty of these you're gonna get hits on. So that was an awesome hit.
Yeah, that was a great hit. It was nice to see Jefferson finally get back into the end zone. Yeah. He got in there twice too, Meg. So
yeah,
finally gets in there. He gets in there twice for us. Darnold throws 3 touchdowns. He cashes the parlay. He wins me some money, but I'm still not sold on him.
I was going to say, you've been a Darnold hater this whole year, and he makes you some money. I like it. Well, I've been a huge Sammy D fan all year, ever since best ball season. Steve and I were analyzing our best ball stuff. If you were joining us in the best ball summer streets, it is officially best ball playoffs start tonight. So, congratulations on moving on to best ball playoffs. And if you joined us this summer, we appreciate it. And we'll be doing, obviously, content, of course, right after the season ends for next best ball season. But right now we are sweating out our best ball lineups these next couple of weeks. Steve, the pods just got kind of locked down. I know DK had them up. Now Underdog, you and I were obsessively looking at our pods and exposures. How are you doing? Because you've got a ton of volume out there. How are you doing getting ready for best ball playoffs to start tonight?
Yeah, doing good. It's exciting that it's, we're starting week 15 for quarterfinals of these playoffs. Interesting game tonight. Obviously, we'll get into that at the end.
Yeah.
But there's something riding on this game. 2 offenses that have some intriguing pieces for sure. But yeah, this is obviously a full slate week. We need to see how some injuries play out. But yeah, very, very exciting to be at the playoffs now.
Yes, absolutely. So again, if you're in best ball playoffs, enjoy, have fun. It's a wild ride, and you can sweat along with us on Twitter. We'll be talking about it here on shows, I'm sure, in passing. But the purpose of today is, of course, to look for week 15 winners, week 15 alts, touchdowns, parlays. And again, I'll put it up on the screen, but you can also check out our Dub Club. It's on the screen. And if you go to the homepage of Fanspeak, there's a link right there. Free week, totally free. Check it out. If you like it, then it's only $45 for the rest of the NFL season. If you don't, no commitment, you can cancel. It's an absolute free first week, and then it's $45 for the rest of the NFL season. Spread and Tyler's picks will be up soon. They're up each and every week. They're free on the NFL betting card up on the homepage of Fanspeak Network, of fanspeak.com. Their picks will be up as well. So check that out. This is like a first look show for us, and then we narrow it down. I obviously send out Thursday night and every primetime slate, and then I send out on Saturday this official Sunday individual plays, parlays, and all of that good stuff. So we had a heater week, and last week wasn't quite as good, but we had a massive week where we're up like 40 units in parlays in the parlays that we posted, and we look to run that back here starting now with our first look. So with that all said, now that we got all that, we got Jamie here. Always love to see Jamie. Let's party. That's right. It's Prop Party. Let's get right to it. The party starts now. Tyler, what alts are you eyeing up at this point of the week?
I mean, that Miami-Houston game looks like alt city, so We'll go there first.
Okay.
Go right back to Tyreek Hill. I mean, he became a focal point in the offense again last week. I know John, who was the guy in the overtime that got him the win, but Tyreek Hill and Waddle both went over 100 in that game.
Yeah.
Now they match up with Houston, who has had trouble with wide receiver ones all year. I think Tyreek Hill's lined at 60.5 right in the spot is a good number, so I'm taking the over there. And now all the way up to 100. And at 100, you're getting about 3-1. So gladly take a shot on that. That's my favorite one of the week. Another one I like this week that I'm going to take a shot on. Where'd that go? I just scrolled past it. Zay Flowers.
Okay.
I think the Giants can't cover anything. I think Baltimore wants a big blowout win to get back on track. So I think all their pieces are going to get there. I think it's one of them games you're going to see him crush from start to finish. You can get 70 plus at plus 140, 80 plus 2-1, 90s 3-1, and 100s 4-1. He hasn't had a big game in a couple weeks. I think this is the game Zay Flowers comes out, gets you 100 yards, gets in the end zone, cashes all the props, and this is just a big Baltimore win. So those are my two favorite guys right now, Meg.
I like it. I like it, Tyler. I like both of your picks. I hope and this will be a theme probably hopefully the next 3 weeks for my best ball exposure. I was very bullish on Derrick Henry, not so much on Zay Flowers. So kind of hope it's more of a Henry game than a Flowers game for my selfish personal portfolio. The same boat. But I totally, the way you're looking at it makes sense. I'm looking at it a very biased way. But no, I like those two plays. Steve, what are you eyeing up at this point of the week?
So first thing I'm looking at is I'm going to go I actually think we have a lot of good matchups this week. First one I'm going to look at is Rico Dowd in the Dallas Carolina game. 90. Look, you have to go up to get it, but he's been really getting the carries. He's had some good matchups these last couple weeks, and it continues this week. 90 is plus 105, 100 is plus 145, 110 is plus 210. I like that quite a bit. I like Hubbard on the other side, but actually the piece I like in this game from the other side is Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, you can get plus odds at 60. He's really become Bryce Young's guy. And let's see, where is it? Adam Thielen, 60 is, just scroll past it, plus 130, 70 is plus 195, 80 is plus 290, 90 plus 425. I mean, I know.
What did he get last week? I mean, he has been.
He got 100. He's gotten 100 last week. So.
He's like so good for Young's development, I think.
Yeah. Who would you bet in that game? Sidewise.
I've gone back and forth on that. I've been flip-flopping on that, admittedly.
I'd probably lean Cowboys, I do think. Look, I mean, if not for a botched punt block, they would have been in great field goal range to win the game against Cincinnati. You know, they beat the Giants, they beat Washington. You know, I mean, Cooper Rush has played pretty well.
That's why I was leaning, but then for some reason today I was waffling more and like, yeah, Bryce Young looks so good, and and Chuba looks good, Thielen looks good. So I've been back and forth on that, but yeah,
I can't bring myself to click Carolina minus 2.5.
Right.
When their two wins are the Saints and the Giants.
Yeah.
Right.
They were 6.5 and 7.5 point dogs in those games. And Dallas is 3-point favorites over both of those teams.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they're 3-point favorites over Dallas. Yeah, I think I'd be on Dallas here.
Yeah, I think I'm more on Dallas. I was that pretty much up till like today, and then I was kind of waffling out. But I think I'm more on Dallas as well. It's an ugly one, but I think these plays like Dowdle, Chuba, Thielen do stand out. So yeah, great. I like the great call on Thielen. Would you approach that from receptions? He's been racking up the receptions, or are you fine approaching it from the yards because he's been hitting the yards the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine going the yards. I mean, you can hit the receptions, but 60 yards plus odds. You don't even have to go all the way up to 100, and you're getting 2-3 times your money. 4 times your money, 425 for 90. I mean, even if you do 60, 70, 80. 80 is plus 290. So essentially 3 times your money for him to get 80 yards. I like that a lot. So another prop that I like, Cortland Sutton coming off the bye.
Yeah.
Colts defense they're coming off the bye also, but their defense is just not good. 70 is minus 115, 80 plus 130, 90 plus 185, and 100 is plus 265. This is a guy who's kind of dominating Bo Nix's targets. They're at home in Denver, coming off a bye. They can't run the ball, even though you can kind of run against the Colts. The Broncos cannot run the ball. So I just think it's a good matchup, and I think he's going to go off in this game. And I had one more receiver. Let me find it real quick. Find the number.
While you're looking it up, I'm going to just throw out that I want to keep an eye on some of these, like, and we probably won't get them for like till like Saturday or something, I'm guessing, but some of these tight ends that could emerge as like a target, like Stone Smart, Jordan Akins for Cleveland against the Chiefs. That's been like a tight end funnel. Stone Smart, Herbert needs weapons. I still like McConkey, but I'll be interested to just, this is just kind of like, there's not lines available for these guys, but this is just like, let's look out for these like super low lines, because we've had some success grabbing low lines on tight ends. So go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
And my last one, and honestly, I'm fine with either of these receivers, but I'm going to go Devontae Adams, and you could go Garrett Wilson at very similar numbers, 70, 80, 90, 70 for Devontae Adams plus 105, 80 plus 160, 90 plus 235. Obviously, you can take it up to the 100 at plus 330.
They both got 100 last week, too.
They both got 100 last week. Aaron Rodgers has been throwing the ball a little bit better these last couple weeks, again, against the Jaguars. Secondary defense is just really not good. I actually, we'll talk about later, but I mean, another simple way is just to parlay both at like 70 or 80. You're getting plus odds on both guys. Obviously, doing it together, you're getting really good odds. Even like a simple parlay there, 2-man parlay is something I really like.
Would you add Rodgers? I mean,
sure.
Over 60% of I think the targets are going to the two of them.
Yeah,
so.
no, you can definitely add Rodgers. You could add like Rodgers 2 touchdowns and their 2 yardage props, something like that. But yeah, let me just I just had it.
We'll save that. I was gonna say save that for the parlay section.
Okay.
And so to summarize, you like Dowdle, Thielen, Sutton, both Jets receivers potentially. Yeah. Anybody else?
I mean, there's plenty of others I like. I mean, I was 100% on Tyler on that Miami-Houston game.
Yeah.
I like both sides of that. Hill, I agree, was probably the best prop, but I mean, there's just a lot of ways. I like Mixon. I like Nico.
They're big numbers, but they're, it just could be a game where the studs shine. Yeah. Tyler, Steve knows this story, but I had a massive Jonnu tilt. I've been on Jonnu the last, several weeks when he's just emerged, and I have a ton of them in best ball too. I play a drinking game with me mentioning best ball these next few weeks, but I, really been on Jonnu. It has been a profitable thing for me. Added Jonnu, did this tight end parlay with like Juwan Johnson. And who else did I have in Steve? 1 or 2 other tight ends. But, Kittle was in the late game. Yeah. So I had 3 guys in the 1 o'clock. We had 3 guys in the 1 p.m. slate. The other 2 get there easily. Jonnu is not targeted the whole damn game. And then overtime, they go 3 or 4 targets in a row. And he misses his ult by 15 yards, 14 yards or something like that. Kittle was the last one. He gets it in the first quarter. And so it would have been like a sweat-free, cash had Jonnu just been targeted a couple times during the game. That was the weirdest thing to me. Like, how was he not targeted at all in that game when they obviously needed him because it took to overtime to beat the Jets? I don't know. Did you watch that game, Tyler?
You think it was more of just trying to get the receivers going?
I don't know if
they haven't done much all year. And if they want any chance at the playoffs, I know Jonnu's been good, but you're not going to get to the playoffs just riding Jonnu all the way.
Yeah, maybe it was just a product of we got to get spark these. Yeah,
I think it was, with Sauce out and the Jets. I mean, the receivers were open. What Jonnu's benefited from is Tyreek's still the primary receiver on pretty much every play, but he's covered. Well, he's open. So throw him the ball.
Yeah, so that was a massive, massive tilt. Just missed that tight end parlay, and it was a super, super bummer. Always good to see Reek in chat. Time to make some money. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us in chat. We appreciate it. If you're in here, be sure, or watching a replay, be sure to hit that like button. Okay, I just have a few to add to your guys' already list of these alts that we're talking through. So I mentioned keep an eye out for these tight ends. You can get some very low lines on some of these tight ends. Disley, who Stone Smart is replacing, on the Chargers had a very low line for a while and was one to take advantage of. So Stone Smart is what I'm looking at. Jordan Akins, if Njoku is indeed out, you target tight ends against Kansas City. Stone Smart against Kansas City racked up what Disley should have gotten it last week when he got injured. So those are some low lines. Ridley is in a great matchup. I like Ridley this week. I like Ridley most weeks. Ever since Hopkins left, he's gotten a huge target share. Just Love has played like garbage last week, and it just, didn't get there. But I absolutely think this could be a bounce back spot for Ridley, and you only need to go up to 70. I want to pay attention to the Judy Tillman stuff. Kansas City has been very susceptible on their pass defense, and we know Jameis can chuck it. So I would say, just like you said, that whole Jets condensed target tree, I mentioned Jordan Akins, but like a parlay or like being interested in like Jameis, Judy, Tillman, something along those lines against, because again, we know Jameis is going to chuck it and the Chiefs have been more susceptible lately. So I like that. And then finally, McConkey, if he's in, I just think he showed the week prior, he had like 50% target share. So Lad McConkey is who I will be eyeing up if he's in. Oh, and then I have to go, it didn't get there. We did like a parlay of like milestones and it didn't quite get there last week, but just missed for Mike Evans. He needs to get around 100 yards, a little over 100 yards a game if he does want to get to 1,000. They, have a very tough matchup this week against the Chargers, but then 3 easy games. It'll be interesting to see if he does hit that 1,000 yards, but he's going to need over 100 yards to do it. So I don't mind Mike Evans. So what are your guys' thoughts on Mike Evans specifically? I'll go to you first, Tyler.
I like that game all around. I like Tampa Bay to win that game. I just think it's the more I watch the Chargers play and the more they lose pieces on offense. Like ever since Dobbins went down, they don't look like the same offense. Gus Edwards isn't going to break these big runs that Dobbins was to give them scoring opportunities. So it's all on Herbert, and he has one.
It really is. Yeah.
And his weapon's about 180 pounds soaking wet. He takes a hit, and he gets flung halfway across the field, and he's out for the rest of the game. That's what happened in multiple games this year already. He didn't play last week, and then Disley went down. It was the Chiefs, so the Chiefs just said, okay, we're just going to pack it in and let this game stay close. We're going to kick a field goal at the end. Well, Tampa Bay is going to play at 1,000 miles an hour and try and put up 40 points here. I don't know if the Chargers can get any higher than like 24 points. I like Herbert. I like the way the team looks, but they play slow, methodical football. I don't think that wins you the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, I think the Dobbins loss is huge for the Chargers because they just have no running game with Gus Edwards and Vidal. And like you said, all falls on Herbert and McConkey's his main target. So I agree. I like that game in general. I do have interest in that game. Steve, are you interested in that game as well, and Evans specifically?
Yeah, no, I am. And to Tyler's point, Chargers like playing slow. And last week the Chiefs were content to do that. But I don't think you can with the Buccaneers. So it does. We'll see if Herbert can have a big game. Obviously the Chargers defense has been really good and has shut down and limited some other offenses, but boy, Baker's played just tremendous this year, especially when Evans is on the field. He had a couple down games when Evans was out, but obviously they've been without Godwin for quite some time, but we saw.
But he'll target White, he'll target Auden, and
Yeah, we saw McMillan had 2 tuds this past week. Like he's getting involved a little bit. Sterling, the ghost of Sterling Shepard is still out there. So,
do you think Evans makes it to 1,000 yards this season?
I mean, it's going to be tough now because he
needs like 105, I think, or something like that game.
But hey,
it's always in his bag though to get one game where he gets like 180 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna have that game like the last week of the season. They're just gonna pelt the ball.
Yeah. And they have after this week, their matchups are really easy. I want to say it's like I can't remember, but it's a very, very easy road.
You'll see a
Saints, Panthers,
contract
somebody else.
incentive pop up when you see those tweets like the last week when they're like, it's incentive week.
Yeah.
Mike Evans needs 125 yards to get 1,000 and he gets an extra 500 grand.
Yeah.
Like, all right, there's the bet for the week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So I am very interested in this game because we know you can, while Chargers are depleted, you want to target the Bucs in the passing game. And then, like you said, Baker and that side should play with their hair on fire too. So I do like that just game environment. All right. So those were the alts. We're going to head to looking at anytime touchdowns, early look at anytime touchdowns. Again, if you're joining us, watching us live, watching us on replay, be sure to hit that like button. We appreciate it. If you want, check out Dub Club, link at the bottom, or on fanspeak.com, and Spread and Tyler's picks will be up for the week there as well. All these official plays will go out Saturday. This is our early look. So I'll go to you first, Tyler. Touchdowns. What early touchdowns are you liking this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to one of my guys I mentioned for the alts. Give me Zay Flowers at plus 145.
Oh, no.
Give me another guy you mentioned, that one of the Cleveland Browns guys, Cedric Tillman, plus 225. He's coming back. I think Cleveland's going to have a real shot at winning this game on Sunday. I think it's going to come through.
I agree. I agree with you. I totally agree with you on that.
I like Tillman plus 255, and then give me Jackson Smith and Jigba on Sunday night, 2-1 against Green Bay.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, he's been very much emerging as a weapon for them. So I like that call a lot. Have to root against you on Flowers just for my best ball shares, but I love the other two.
Let me get one. You could have three. How about that?
Okay. Oh, you get the other. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, Henry just needs 3.
They scored 28 points. I scored the first touchdown. You get the last 3.
I get Henry. That's fine. At least 2 Henry, and we're all good. Before we go to Steve, we have Mike in chat. Parkinson's receiving yards for tonight. I assume Kobe Parkinson, 11.5. I think it's a smash spot. He's averaging 10.5 yards receptions with Higbee out. It really does run through Puka and Cup, but it's only a line of 11.5. So, what has he got in the last few weeks? He said, you mentioned, and thank you, Mike, for joining us, for jumping in the chat. Good to see you. And thank you for that. But, what is he says, he's averaging 10.5 yards per reception. What's he been, getting?
Not a ton. I'd have to look, but I think the point is, it just takes one.
It just takes one. Yeah. So yeah, I don't mind that. I was talking, Steve and I were talking through the Thursday night slate before we jumped on, and like what we wanted to send to Dove Club, what we really like. And, everything, all the lines, usually we want to find like a little bit of lower hanging fruit, and all the lines are so big for tonight. There's not much out there like that. So a great call out, Mike, on the Parkinson line. So Steve, touchdowns for this week. What are you liking?
Yeah. So first I'm going to go with Rashard White plus 130.
Yeah.
It's looking like Bucky Irving won't play. White gets used out of the backfield as well.
Yeah.
Obviously like Mike Evans at plus 120 in that game as well. But Rashard White is the guy I really like because, again, we talk about all the time, anything you can get essentially a bell cow running back, which he will be. Though Sean Tucker will get a low run, but as we saw last week, he becomes a bell cow running back if Irving's not playing or really there. So that's the first one. Another couple that I like are, back to the Jets. Again, you're getting plus odds at either Adams or Wilson. Again, you can approach either one. I'm going to go Adams plus 145, just his career red zone usage, obviously the history with Aaron Rodgers, just off the charts. Jets, I think, are going to score points. I think they're just, they're going to be able to do what they want against the Jaguars, I feel like, and likely through the air.
Especially defense.
Especially with Hall likely out again. Talked about it from other directions before, but in the Cowboys-Panthers game, give me CeeDee Lamb plus 160 for anytime touchdown. We saw last week. We saw last week. They went right to him first drive. He hit some other shots as well. He's still the main guy on the Cowboys passing attack. So sign me up there. And then, final one that I'll point to, you talked about the Chiefs Browns side. I like DeAndre Hopkins plus 210, essentially 2-1 for a touchdown. He's a leading receiver. Browns secondary, we see every week, is not looking good. They
give up explosive plays too. Yeah.
We got a lot of big names there. And we've seen Hopkins. He hasn't had that many explosive plays. They've tried some shots at him. Many have ended in pass interference calls, but he's gotten a lot of red zone usage as well. I just feel like he's a good way to approach it in this game. And I do think Kansas City will have to throw to win this game.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I'll add a few more. And I have to tack on to your Adams. I saw a clip on Twitter. he was being interviewed talking about, I think they just passed a quarterback wide receiver duo. I can't remember which one, and they have a couple more ahead of them. And, obviously we don't know what the future holds for Rodgers and Adams together or where they'll be next year. But he talked about not knowing the future. Yeah, they'd love to pass, rack up a few more touchdowns together because they are, I forget what place, but very high on the quarterback wide receiver duo list. So there's some narrative there. So I do like that, especially at that price. So I like everything you guys mentioned. I'll throw out back to Calvin Ridley in this matchup, back to Steve's call on Cortland Sutton and Brian Thomas Jr. against the Jets. Let's go back there. Yes, Mac Jones is a quarterback. That's scary. But the Jets defense is god awful. They're bad. I'll also throw out one more. You mentioned Hopkins. I don't mind Pacheco is even money right now, I'm seeing. So I don't mind Pacheco at plus 100, thinking they'll get him a little more involved this week. But yeah, they're the receivers that you can get some nice plus money for me that stood out were Sutton, Ridley, Brian Thomas Jr. as far as guys that you all haven't mentioned. So I think that's a nice list to work from. And again, we'll whittle it down to send everything out for Saturday. So now I think it's time to talk parlays. Tyler, no pressure. Can you run it back 2 weeks in a row? You had a 6-1 on the Darnold Jefferson parlay last week. What do you have for us this week to run it back?
We're going to go 15-1 this week, Meg.
We're
only going to go 2 legs.
Okay.
We're going to go back to Tyreek Hill 100 yards like we talked about in the alts.
Okay.
And a guy I forgot to mention in the alts that Steve reminded me, give me Garrett Wilson 100. Because cover one defense against a guy like that, good luck.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got to say.
I love when you say good luck. Okay, let's go. Tyler's going to try to run it back here. And I think that's a strong play to do it. Hill 100, Garrett Wilson 100. I like it. Steve, do you want to give out your Jets parlay that you were starting to build, adding in Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I also have another one that I'll do as well.
Sure.
But the Jets one first. I'm going to just do 80 for Adams and Wilson.
Yeah. And then Rodgers.
And then I'm making this a 4-legger because I'm going to add Brian Thomas Jr.
I like that.
70 plus.
Okay.
And then Aaron Rodgers, 2 touchdowns, and that's 24-1.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't have thought it would be that high, actually. That's very doable for all that. I like that a lot. Okay, 24-1. Wilson, Adams, 80 yards coming from Rodgers, throwing 2 touchdowns, 70 plus yards running back from Brian Thomas Jr. Okay, and then you said you had another one. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let me bring it up. Give me a second. It is, a game we didn't talk a ton about, but this Lions.
Yeah, one of the highest totals on the week. Yeah, okay.
So obviously multiple ways to approach this. Here we go. So this is an interesting way, but as we know, the Bills are not good against the running backs, particularly running backs out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's right.
For some reason,
I was hoping you were going there. Yeah.
No longer seeing David Montgomery's receiving out of the backfield.
Okay.
That's
was
annoying.
It still 25 plus for plus odds?
Let me refresh.
Because gotta shout out. We swept the board on the Thursday night props. I believe that we put out. We just missed a parlay, but I believe we had 2 props, and one of them was David Montgomery 25 plus receiving. Actually, no, we didn't sweep the board because we had Jordan Love. I take that back. So, but we had David Montgomery 25 plus receiving because he's gained almost as many targets as Jahmyr Gibbs. They are used right down the middle, running and pass in the passing game. And they use them both a lot in the passing game. And as Steve is starting to point out, you can target the Bills. But yeah, they both got over 25 yards. And so we had a parlay with them and it just missed with Jordan Love. But yeah, both running backs as receivers are very live. So what were you going to say about that?
So right now, at least on DraftKings, you can still get David Montgomery's rushing, but you can't get his either rushing, receiving, or his receiving. So that is annoying right now for trying to make a parlay.
Oh, that's okay. But you can give a what to look for.
Yeah. So I would, I'm doing Gibbs 25 plus. I was going to do Montgomery either 25 plus or 100 rushing, receiving, because you can run on the Bills also.
Oh yeah.
Kyron had 80 some yards. And then from the other side, Josh Allen, which again, they've taken this way. I don't know why. I was going to do his passing and rushing combined.
Mm.
The line was 298,
Okay.
and I like that. You could obviously just do just his passing, or look for his rushing. Right now,
He's been running more lately.
Yeah. And another way to approach this is also, honestly, Allen and Montgomery touchdowns as well. You don't get as strong of odds, but these two guys just score touchdowns every week, pretty much. So
Yeah.
I
No,
like
and
that
we
as well.
definitely will probably cook up some official parlay and dub club for that game because it's obviously the big game, the highest total on the slate. But I like both parlays you guys mentioned. I don't have an official one. I'm just going to say that I'm going to run back the tight end parlay this week. Probably trying to incorporate some of the lower lines of the guys I mentioned and take shots on like a Stone Smart, potentially Akins, that kind of stuff when lines are available, which probably won't be till Saturday afternoon. And then maybe add another one or two of some low tight end lines because I've had some success with that this season. And I think I'm going to run that back. And I think there's some tight ends in spots either filling in or just in good spots. So I think
I got a nice, simple Bills Lions parlay for you.
Okay, let's hear it. I like it.
I mean, we know the running backs are going to crush the Bills defense after what we've seen from their defense this year. But on the other side, running quarterbacks always tend to run good against his own defense for Detroit.
Yes.
So why not just do a 60-60-60 parlay on rushing yards? Montgomery 60, give 60, Josh Allen 60, and that comes out at 14-1.
Damn, really? I like that. Okay, I'm writing this down. Allen.
You could mess with those numbers and get them a little better too if you wanted Allen lower, the running backs higher.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I like that a lot. Jamie in chat said, the Monty receiving prop was a lot locked last week. I think you were here in chat, Jamie, talking about that as well. And I think we said, we're on it already. It's already in our Dove Club. So I love that you cashed that as well last week. And I think, the Monty and Gibbs receiving lines are very live this week.
Yeah.
And then to Tyler's point, I think their rushing lines are very live along with Josh Allen, like you said, running against that Lions zone defense. Okay. So we covered alts. We covered touchdowns. We covered parlays. This is an early look. You want our official plays? Sign up for the Dove Club at the bottom or go to fanspeak.com, homepage link right there, free week. Check it out. See if you like it. And it's just, if you do, $45 for the rest of the NFL season. And we'll send out everything by Saturday. We'll be sending out our Thursday picks soon. And now it's time to talk about Thursday night football. I want to see what you guys think and how this game's going to go. And then we'll each make a first touchdown bet or pick, and then we will make a show same game parlay together. So Tyler, I'll go to you first. Who wins? What is this, a high scoring game, close game? What do you think? How do you see this game going?
Yeah, I mean, McVay's been very good on short weeks. However, 49ers have kind of had their number up until the last game of last year and the first game of this year. So it's the game of which one's going to give. All the injuries for the 49ers are they're piled up at this point. We could talk about it forever. But Bosa got a limited practicing on Wednesday. He's got a Q tag on him. He's not officially ruled out yet. Greenlaw is going to play in this game. He was a full participant on Wednesday. Garendo's going to give it a go. I will not touch any of his props. I'm going to write that down 100 times on a chalkboard because the moment I click that button, he's going to go out in the first half. But outside of that, none of these other guys on their injury report, not counting all the guys that are out for the rest of the season, none of these guys really worry me. So after seeing what they put together last week, I think I'm going to lean towards San Francisco. I know the Rams put together one of the best games they've had all year.
Yeah.
But they do that one week, and then the next week they bounce back to reality, and they look like a subpar team like they are. I don't think they're going to have the same success that they had last week against Buffalo. They're missing their starting corner, Kobe Durant.
Mm-hmm.
I think San Francisco is going to be able to have their way this game. I think Juwan Jennings has a decent game. I think Kittle has a decent game. I think they put up points and win the game.
I think Purdy could have a decent game, as you mentioned, with that corner out and everything. I think Kittle's in a great spot. Rams is, I would believe, 26th against tight ends, ranked 26th against tight ends. So, I'm with you, Tyler. I like 49ers to win, but in a close one. Steve, how do you see this game going?
Yeah, I'm with both of you. I think the 49ers win this game. I do think it will be close, to Tyler's point. The Rams obviously won a close game earlier in the year, and they won at the end of last year as well. But Rams have been very up and down. This season against some teams like the Eagles a couple weeks ago, they got blown out. Then this past week against the Bills, they took it to the Bills. I mean, they gave up 42 points, but they put up 44. That's not nothing. So overall, this offense has looked so much better with Kupp and Puka back. Adding Kyron, and it's a pretty strong offense, but I just don't think their defense is going to be able to stop the 49ers. As we've seen, Jennings has replaced Ayuk. Kittle is having a great year.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to matter who's running the ball for San Francisco. They produce. Yeah. So, I think 49ers win a close one.
Okay. Let me check in with chat, and then I'm going to get your guys' first touchdown picks. Jamie says, last checked, Stafford's line was 241.5. He's hit the over 11 of 12 games where we've seen both Puka and Kupp healthy. That's interesting. Yeah, no, he's been fairly consistent. I think he's had 2 touchdown passes in the last 4 in a row, obviously with both healthy. So yeah, when he's got both his weapons, he is obviously dangerous. So I don't mind the over on Stafford's yards. I don't mind the over on Purdy's yards either. Mike says Tutu and Purdy TDs for me. Maybe rushing TD for Purdy. I mean, he has
that, or maybe first touchdown he's looking at.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yes. And then Mike says, if you like Kittle, check out his longest reception, 22.5 on FanDuel. That's a nice look as well. So yeah, appreciate the feedback in chat. And if you have any other first touchdowns, drop them in there. But Tyler, I'll go to you first. Who scores first tonight?
I got 2. I got one on each side, and one's a long shot. But I'm
I love it.
Gonna go Juwan Jennings 11-1.
Yeah, I like that.
And then he's been getting carries. Give me Blake Corum 36-1.
Yeah. I mean, again, I need Kyron, so I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. But it's a fun long shot. He has been mixing in more, so
yeah, he has been looking good. So got to mix him in on a short week, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I like your calls, Tyler. So you got Corum as your long shot, Jennings on the 49ers. I like that. Steve, what do you got for us?
I'm going to go the other side. Jennings is probably my favorite overall, but I'm going to go Cooper Kupp 10-1. Yeah. He's getting touchdowns almost every week since being back. Puka's getting more total targets and yards. Kupp has been pretty effective in scoring. Wow,
that's a massive difference. Shop these lines, because I was on FanDuel and then I flipped over, and yeah, 750 on FanDuel, 10-1 on DraftKings. So definitely shop those lines. Let's see. I'm gonna go. Let me see where it's higher, since I just saw the big discrepancy there on Kupp. It's the same. It's boring. I'm gonna go George Kittle. He's been a touchdown monster this year. Big red zone target for Purdy, and has done very well at home and on prime time too, if you want another little narrative there. So plus 850, I'll say Kittle gets in first. Okay, guys, now it's time to build a show same game parlay. We each pick a leg. Just missed last week by one leg. David Montgomery receiving was in there, I believe. So now let's try to get back to our winning ways, because we definitely have had some wins on Thursday Night Football. So Tyler, what is your first pick for our show same game parlay?
My first pick for the show parlay, Meg, I'm going to take Brock Purdy over 18.5 rushing yards.
I like that. I talked about that with Steve. As far as looking for some lower lines. What do you think about that? So he's been running a lot more this year. I like that, Tyler. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah. No, sometimes he blows way past it. So, Steve, what do you like for your leg?
All right. So DraftKings, for whatever reason, just took props off. So that's annoying.
I was just building it on FanDuel anyways.
George Kittle, 70 plus receiving.
Okay. I like that. That was on my short list. So I like that. Find that 70 plus. And then, I'm trying to decide if I do a touchdown, or receiving yards for either Kittle or Kupp, Kupp or Puka. Puka's line is just massive, but but I mean, he's just been a monster.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a lean there?
I'd lean towards Cup, just the number being lower.
It's much lower. Would you do his receptions as 7 plus you get plus money, or 70 plus you get plus money? Well, spoiler alert, we have Puka in our one that we're sending out to Dub Club already. So this way it diversifies a little. And that way, like you said, it's a little lower. Brock Purdy, 18.5, Kittle 70 plus, Cup 70 plus. The narrative here also is, or wait, do you guys have a take? Would you rather 7 receptions or 70 plus?
I'd rather do 70.
Okay.
Yeah, 70.
Okay. All right. So it's easy. 70 for Cup, 70 for Kittle. Purdy over 18.5 rushing yards gets you 7-1. I will post this on Twitter after. It will be going out in Dub Club. I like that. Slot receivers do very well. Puka he's garnered more target share, air yard share, has just been the dominant alpha. Cup is obviously still getting his share as well. And slot receivers have a much stronger matchup against the 49ers. So I like that angle for that. Again, this will be on Twitter and in Dub Club. Okay, final thoughts. Mike says no love for use check. And I was considering both quarterbacks. Might do some fun, bigger parlay with some of the bigger lines like Stafford and Purdy and Puka and all that stuff. But I like our parlay. And again, look for it on Twitter and Dub Club. Okay, final thoughts for week 15, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be fun. Best ball playoffs are here. And I mean, we got a couple more weeks and it's playoff season. So it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be time to talk who's going to win the Super Bowl. Everyone's going to plant their flag. And then in the end, the Chiefs are probably going to win anyway.
I hope they get stomped by the Browns this week. And,
that is one of my bets this week, is taking the Browns money line.
Have you bet it yet? I like it. I actually like it. You did? I like it. One of these days, you cannot run that pure that long. You just can't. I understand. I get it all, but I just don't think this is it. I actually like the Steelers, Tyler, for a longer shot in the AFC. I really do. Because outside, okay, so if it's not the Chiefs, then it leaves.
You need one of those two top teams knocked out in the first round. And one of them's going to have a bye. So you better pray that Baltimore goes into Buffalo and takes care of business.
Yeah. Okay.
If Pittsburgh's got to go Buffalo, they're dead. They're not beating Josh Allen. And they're probably not beating Patrick Mahomes. So Baltimore's got to
We'll find out on Christmas Day I think they could beat Patrick Mahomes on Christmas. Right. But so you don't think they could beat Patrick Mahomes twice? Because I think they could beat him on Christmas Day.
They definitely can't beat him twice. I think it could be similar to how, like, when we played them in the playoffs a couple years ago, where it was like they kind of looked across the field and they were like, we're content just to let you be here and we'll win this game by a possession. And then the Steelers decided they were going to strip sack them and run it into the end zone and go up 7-0 and all celebrate like they were going to win the game. And they put up 28 points in less than 2 minutes of gameplay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That was insane. The offense was much more explosive than, I don't know. If you roll out the Chiefs, and this is how I'm handling playoff best ball. I know Andrew and them are likely going to do some playoff best ball shows here in the near future. But if you roll out the Chiefs on the AFC side, really the only viable ones to me are then the Bills, the Ravens, the Steelers. Maybe if you think the Chargers get Dobbins back and get frisky, I don't know. So I just think there's a path, but Steve, what do you think?
This is also lining up for the Steelers to pull their ultimate, the kick in the nut spot, where it's like, oh, great season. Looks like we got a quarterback now. What happened in the playoffs? We lost to Bo Nix. It's lining up for one of those years. We've lost to Blake Bortles. We've lost to Tim Tebow.
This is true.
Here it comes.
You do have the history right there in front of us. All right, Steve, final thoughts for week 15.
Yeah, no, I think there's actually a lot of, I think, matchups with, that we talked about that you can exploit. Obviously, like we mentioned at the end, the Detroit Bills game is the one with the biggest total by far. But a lot of fun games, not just for best ball, but for props to look at this week.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's always fun with you guys here on Thursdays. Again, if you're in the best ball playoffs, good luck. If you're just in the, alts and props and betting streets, good luck. Again, check out Dub Club for free, a free week link on fanspeak.com. Check out Spread and Tyler's picks for free on fanspeak.com. Will be up later today or tomorrow. But yeah, whether it's best ball playoffs, DFS, betting, good luck. Have a great week 15. For Steve, for Tyler, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.